Good evening, cowboys, cowgirls, and outlaws. Welcome to the Slick Sixguns Network. I'm your host, Slick Sixguns, and I'm here to provide education, tips, and community for those interested in the Western shooting sports. If you're interested in stuff like that, be sure to hit that subscribe button and that notifications bell so you don't miss anything. Now let's pack our wagons and see what's being discovered out west. Good morning, cowboys, cowgirls, and outlaws. Welcome to the Slick Sixguns Network Facebook page. I'm your host, Slick Sixguns, and today we are going to be doing another one of our, you guessed it, coffee episodes. So make sure that you guys grab your favorite libation, whether it be 5 o'clock somewhere, or either it be morning, or maybe you're just on a lunch break. So here we go. As you can see, I've got my coffee today. I got it from my local coffee shop, and feel free, by all means, at any point in time, support your local small businesses. I'm all for that. And, they definitely sometimes make a good cup every now and again, and, you guys can always enjoy that. So, cheers. Nothing like having your good old cup of coffee to get the morning started. Anyway, with that being said, I want to go ahead and let you guys know that if you like all these episodes that I put out, feel free to go to my Buy Me a Coffee page. Maybe you could be mentioned in the next episode or in the future. Anyway, I could always use the support. Your support is much appreciated. I also want to let you guys know that I am going to be showing a firearm on this channel. This firearm is unloaded. I have checked it multiple times before bringing it on camera. I will check it again when I actually bring it on camera, just to show all the viewers that I am 100% safe and that there's nothing loaded in the chamber and no one is going to be hurt. Anyway, just kind of keep that in mind. I know we're going to have some folks jump in here later on in the live stream, and they may not necessarily 100% see that, but I just want to let everyone know who is watching and maybe watching this on the replay that these firearms have been safety checked. With that being said, let's go ahead and show you the firearm. Alright. This is my Smith & Wesson Lemon Squeezer right here. It is unloaded, as you can see, nothing in the chambers. But for those of you who were tuning in or reading the description, you'll notice that I said that I have my Old West pocket pistol. And yes, this is a pocket pistol, and it is Old Western. I'm going to kind of showcase this firearm for you. You're going to see it up close in person, on camera, as it were. And I'm also going to talk to you a little bit about how much it costs, why I got it, what I use it for, and also my personal opinion of it. So we have a little bit of ground to cover, so if you stay tuned, you'll get to hear all that. And maybe in the comments section, you could let me know what you think, as well as also what's your experience with these types of revolvers. Let me know. I would love to hear. I'd also love to hear where you're watching from. By all means, mention that in the comment section. Maybe I'll give you a shout out and answer your question on a live stream here. Also, keep the comments professional as much as you can. I know that some people have a tendency to, we got the haters are going to hate. That's okay. I probably won't answer those questions because they're too obscene or whatever. But if it is a serious question, regardless of what it is, it could be about me, it could be about the firearm, it could be about the coffee I drink, it doesn't really matter. I will try to answer it to the best of my ability because you are why I do this. Okay, so let's go ahead and show you this firearm real quick. If you guys notice, you're going to see that the grips on it are very narrow, very thin. Something that's kind of hard to wrap your fingers around, if you will. And you'll actually see that this pistol is about the size of my palm. Mind you, I do have bigger hands, so this is something that is, a little bit on the smaller side. It is a pocket pistol. But you're also going to see a hump here. This is a Smith & Wesson Lemon Squeezer, what they are known as. And it has a safety hammerless. Well, it's a safety hammerless model. But Why is it a safety hammerless? This is the safety. It is a grip safety. If you can see, I'm pushing on it, and that is a nice little safety spring in there that will not allow the firearm to fire without that being depressed, or the trigger to really be pulled. If you can see, I am not gripping it at all in any whatso fashion, trying to pull the trigger, and the trigger is not going. So just a nice little safety feature on it. You see it's got a hammer in it. It is not hammerless. It is not striker fired. It is hammer fired, but the hammer is shrouded underneath the frame back here. So just kind of neat to know. Very smooth looking, if you'll see. It is definitely something that is designed to be hidden in a pocket, something that is snag free, if you will. And as you can see, obviously back in the day, people were thinking about concealed carry. Kind of interesting, you know, to know that concealed carry is something that has been thought in our American psyche since the 19th century, or even earlier. You know, I mean, I know that we have little single-shot Derringers that were made. Obviously, you got to think about the assassination with Abraham Lincoln and before that. So pocket pistols themselves, concealed carry, is not a new concept. You know, it may not have been all the rage, or I could be wrong. It could have been all the rage back then, much as it is now, but that is something that you just kind of have to think about. If you go up here, you're going to see that there's a nice little latch up here. This is actually the latch that is going to release the barrel from the frame in the cylinder so that you can actually load it. If you guys are familiar with Smith & Wessons, especially the top break versions such as the Schofields and things like that, this is all kind of a very similar mechanism, and they just simply downsized it. Very nice. And it can simply just be done with the use of your thumb, and it just comes up like that, and it's going to eject the shells. Very nice. Disassembly of this thing is actually relatively simple. I'm not going to do that on camera because I don't want to lose the pieces, and then again I don't want to fumble it, so I would rather wait till a later time. It actually does have sights on it. If you guys can see, it's got a very rudimentary rear sight, and it has a half-moon front sight. Very tall, if you will. It's got the markings of Smith & Wesson as well. If I can see this, yep, Smith & Wesson in Springfield, Massachusetts is what it says up here on the barrel. That is where the markings are. And you can see that the cylinder on this thing is really, really tiny. It's kind of impressive how tiny it is. It's a little bit bigger than my index finger here. So it's kind of neat, and it is a fluted cylinder. It is 5-shot. I don't think I showed you that, but yes, it is 5-shot right there. Not 6-shot, nothing like that, and it can be carried with all 5. You guys can see that this is the pivot point for the barrel, and the barrel itself, I believe, is roughly about 3 inches. I have not measured it, don't go by me. I know that people cut them down to 1 inch or less. You have that. The trigger guard is actually rather large, kind of nice, and the hammer, the trigger itself, you know, does fit your fingers. But I'll tell you, if you have any fingers thicker than mine, you're going to have a little bit of trouble squeezing the trigger. So, just kind of neat. Serial number for this firearm is going to be 46,890. So, you know, I haven't done my history research on this, so don't 100% go by me. I'm not going to say that's a low serial number. I'm not going to say it's a high serial number or whatever. I'm not going to say it's an early model. I'm not going to talk a little bit about the history of this. I'm just going to talk about what I think about it, how much I paid for it, what I got it for, and all that good stuff, so please stay tuned. I don't know exactly when this revolver was made, so don't go by me on that. But my understanding is that it was made before the 1900s. I don't know exactly what year. The grips are original, to my knowledge. They actually have some cracks in them. If I can find it, yeah, it's got a small hairline crack over there, and that was actually caused by me. not from dropping it or anything. Actually, I was shooting this, did use it, you know, and I've had this revolver for a number of years. Okay, so with that being said, let's talk a little bit about the round it shoots, which I know everybody is going to be excited to see something like that. I can tell you that it's puny, to say the least. Here it is, 32 Smith & Wesson. Very, very small. You know, I'd say it's around the lines of the same length almost as the 32 ACP. I don't have a 32 ACP for comparison, but just based on my experience, I would say it's about the size of a 32 ACP, at least in overall length. Obviously, the rim is different. It's not the same rim as a 32 ACP. This is 32 Smith & Wesson. These are actually loaded with black powder, and yes, this is an all-lead bullet. You know, feel free to ask me your questions in the comments section. I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. But yeah, you'll actually see me in some of my videos. I make fun of this round of how small it is. You know, but it is definitely the smallest round that I actually have right now. I don't have 22 long rifle or 22 short, nothing like that. 32 is actually the smallest that I currently have. And 32 is allowed in pocket pistols when it comes to competition shooting. So, just kind of neat. Very nice. Very small, very tiny for you guys. Okay. Let me go ahead and show you the other end because I didn't show you that. It does have some dings on it. It does have some wear. It is a nickel finish. I don't know if it has been re-nickeled at some point in its life. Maybe it was. But based on what I'm seeing, the nickel looks original, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but you definitely have some flaking on it for sure. And, you know, definitely shows its age. But she is functional. She does function. Okay, so let me know in the comment section what you guys think of these pistols. What is your experience with them? I would like to, you know, have that kind of conversation with you. But let's talk a little bit about how much this thing costs, because I know that some people, are into concealed carry, and the thing is a lot of things come up where, well, you know, I want to get something like this for a concealed carry. That's not what I got it for, but, you know, maybe someone is considering it. Maybe they don't want, you know, an auto loader or anything like that, or they're not really into the current calibers that are in the pocket revolvers nowadays. I will say that this is a very unique choice to go with, just because 32 Smith & Wesson isn't easy to find. You can find 32 Smith & Wesson long. I know that is a little bit easier to find, but 32 Smith & Wesson, which some people refer to as 32 Smith & Wesson short, I just call it 32 Smith & Wesson. You know, and it's just kind of a round that you're not really going to see out there. In fact, I'll tell you, the round that I found that I shoot out of this revolver, I actually had to go online to a specialty and order it. You know, I couldn't even reload it myself because, one, I don't have the dies, and two, at least with the most recent years, it's been hard to kind of find brass overall for things. And if this was hard to find in the beginning, before all that happened, it's definitely hard to find now. Okay, so why digress? Where was I going with this? I was talking to you a little bit about the price, because maybe some of you are thinking about this and you actually want to get a revolver like this for whatever you want to use it for. I will tell you what I paid for it, and then you can kind of guesstimate of how much it might be worth now, if you were to go onto the market. What I paid for it, though, at the time was about $400. That is not a whole lot of money, in my opinion. So, you know, for something that is in its original condition, I have seen these go for much higher, even back then, but obviously price depends on the eye of the buyer, right? You know, it can never be too much if you really, really want it, and if you can afford it. So, but I paid $400 for this. That's what I was willing to pay for it. And it looked like it was in working condition from when I bought it. It looked like it had been a little bit beat up. But, you know, still functionable, still fireable. So that's what I paid for it. So let me know what you have paid for in the comment section. What you guys have paid for these types of revolvers, which you know, are willing to pay for them, and you know, we'll go from there. But that is what I paid for it, and for a nickel finish, I didn't think that was too bad. However, I will caveat that by saying that after I bought this, I was sorely disappointed, and here's why. It broke instantly. Got it. I fired it once or twice, and it broke. You know, and that is something that you kind of have to assume is that, you know, these at some point probably were used, or have been tested, or have been fired. The springs get worn out, time wears out everything after a while, and its internals weren't necessarily the most desirable. So when I took it apart, I found that the springs were a little old and worn out, and they would not retain their tension anymore, so I had to fix a few things, specifically with the firing pin. So I did, and she works great now. You know, so it is a fully functioning firearm, and yes, I have shot it. Have I shot it more since since I broke it? Yes, I have. I shot it on more than one occasion, and it has worked the entire time since I fixed it. So $400 for something like this might work for you for a couple shots. Then you fix it, then it works even better. Spend a little more money. I don't know. Or you can go out there, spend the $1 or $2 grand that it may cost for one in pristine condition, and it may work for you the entire time, or not. Again, you know, you just kind of have to take into consideration the age of the revolver, the age of the weapon. You don't know who used it before. You don't know how they treated it. Buying sight unseen might cause some issues. So, you know, that's what happened with me. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get my coffee again. Okay. Now I'm going to go into a little bit about why I got this. Okay, I covered the price. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about why I got it. Okay, I got this specifically for a specific purpose. And as I said, if you guys have watched any of my previous episodes, you'll see that a lot of the firearms that I purchase, I buy them for a specific reason, and it's normally to fit into a specific category, so that I can participate in the shooting disciplines in as many areas as possible within my own shooting discipline. And in this specific case, this is allowed in the Single Action Shooting Society in its side matches. They have what's called Derringer side matches and pocket pistol side matches. And this fits the pocket pistol. It has specific qualifications for it to include barrel length, caliber, rounds, and also whether they're double or single action only. You know, it depends. So this is a double action only revolver, and double action revolvers are allowed in the pocket pistol side match. So that is why I got it, and I will tell you I am very happy with it. I think, you know, it definitely filled that need, and it filled it very well. Now, a better question to ask would be, how many times have I shot this thing? Well, I have not shot it recently, and I shot it the first time I got it for a couple of shots, and then I took it to a match consecutively in 2 years. So I shot it 4 times, and approximately each time I shot probably 50 rounds. So this thing itself in the last 5 to 6 years only has probably about 100 rounds, if that. You know, this isn't something that I carry every day. I know that some people might be interested in doing that, and by all means, that's what they were designed for, and you can. But that's not what I want to use it for. Could I? Do I want to? Not really. I have my own reasons why, and I'm not going to really get into that. This is something that has to do specifically with my shooting discipline, and this has to do with something that fits a specific category that I wanted to get into. So I did, and that is why I got it, and that's what I use it for. Very nice. How are y'all today? It's been a nice day, interesting day so far. Hope y'all are enjoying yourselves. It's a nice, beautiful day outside in October, getting into Halloween. Let me know what you want to dress as for Halloween. I know I'm dressed every day. Okay. Anyway, all right. Let's talk a little bit about, before I talk about my opinion, let me go ahead and showcase this thing for you. Let me know what you think in the comment section. What you think of this revolver? How's she doing? Open it up. Might as well take a look. See that she's very well put together. Oh. Very nice. Alright, there you go. Okay, let's talk a little bit about my opinion. This revolver. When I tell you guys my opinion, I'm probably not going to give you anything terrible to say. I'm going to give some pros and cons, what I like, what I don't like. And you know one has sponsored this video, how many firearms that I'm using, so I try to give you an honest opinion on this. You by all means your own opinion as well. Feel free to share that. My opinion of this revolver. Start. It is a very interesting innovation. I think that the size of it for the time that it was used, I know they have guns even smaller than this that don't even resemble guns. They've got little palm pistols, the rotating palm pistols that have basically pins in them that they use. They also have ways of dealing, like they had cane guns back then, sword cane, all that stuff. So what's my opinion of this? Well, I think it's very beautiful, for one. Nickel finish. Very beautiful. I think, and I like to think a lot of my firearms as a piece of art. I think artistry is very nice. I think it is beautiful. I think it's age 9 for her, for the time she was created, and so I think that's very neat. I think the round she fired has recoil. Great for somebody who's smaller, can't stand recoil or whatever. I think the cartridge is, shooting a little too is what it feels like. No recoil. Also, the revolver is at least heavy enough to manage that. I don't know exactly how many grains of power are in the charge I'm using. So it's easy to really stay on it. Accuracy wise, obviously I'm not taking distance on anything. I really go for accuracy on this thing. I just care that it's actually. So does it? Yes. Care what it hits? Not really, as long as I'm not hitting anybody intentionally. Okay. So I'm going to comment on the accuracy as far as my opinion on that. That's not what they were really designed for. So they were just designed for self-defense. Up close and That's what I say. I really like on this thing. Really smooth, but extremely. I think if I have a little more a actual, I think the grip was just a little bit thick. It have to be much thicker, but I think that the grip could be a little thicker than what it is. It doesn't extend all the way down. Don't get all my on it. Gripping it kind of weird first. Okay? I think kind of could be fixed with the, maybe made a shorter barrel, which I'm sure they cut the barrel, have a short, a longer grip, be a little bit. But this is kind of awkward first, especially that grip safety has to be pushed into your. Now, mind you, the safety it change based on orders, but when you don't push it down in order for the gun to charge. So, you say that safety kind of cause even the safety kind of causes issues with revolver. A little awkward. You have to get more of a grip like rather than what you consider more a grip. You have to really grip up high, essentially make sure your palm is pushing down on safety to discharge. And in a situation, you can see it cause issues. Say that's kind of a guess. The on it, I think it's interesting. It even has, but the are actually they're actually better than some that I have standard orders. So I it's interesting. Wonder it's though is it has a little bit of age in it that might really lead to coming out time and eventually letting in the barrel a little bit more, especially if the round is charging at the point, and obviously it's too cost. This is a little loose than end shape really that bad, but if you have end shape, we'll say that those of you that know what end shape is, please look it up. But it works. I can say something that I'm a fan. I like how small it is. I like how round it, like how small the cylinder is. Just kind of neat, have it small. It's not a deal. So I think it's interesting. I think as breaking it up is always kind of the small tops. I think that they were that in size of only has wear and tear on the cylinder to reaches and turn it. So, but what else do I say? What do I like? Why not like? Kim handed. I think that's much do that with fields. Very, very there. Trigger is long is what you pull action. Pull you straight. Even it's actually there. You pull relative amount of force. It's awkward. Once again, my opinion, revolver, beautiful, great. It works fine. It does what it's do. It just is awkward. For to be ever for me, and that's my opinion. I do it. I it otherwise. You know, it's a constructive opinion, at least. For to it. That is of it. I hope all that inside, guys. Anyway, my lesson also Smith and Hammerlin. Very nice. Nice. All right. Anyway, thank you for your time, you guys. Have a great description section is a link to our Patreon account if you feel like supporting us. Don't forget to buy me a coffee as well. It's cowgirls and cowboys. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did. And if you're looking forward to the next video, I'll see you on down the trail. Have a good one.